Welcome, everybody, to my very own podcast show where I interview people about the things that they are passionate about in life. My guest today is the Supreme Madness himself. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
How you doing? How you doing, guys? It's your boy Supreme Madness. That's SUPREMEMADNESS. How y'all doing, bro?
Bro, and he even got the flow of how to say his own name. I like that. I like that.
Man, you
Little
know.
little seasoning and pizzazz on that. But I am here to interview him about all the things that he likes to do. He makes a lot of music, and odd enough, he's even made music for the good old wrestling company WWE. And so we're going
Yeah.
to talk about that too. So when we were talking about doing this interview, we talked about how you're about to come out with an album. Is this your first ever studio album that you're coming out with, or no?
Um, I do have another independent album I made while I was a lot younger, a lot less structured. I was not in affiliation with the practice that the company that I work sync with. I was not in affiliation with them at the time, so it was kind of an immature album. I just pretty much put together a bunch of stuff. I had no direction. I really didn't apply it anywhere. I didn't, use it for anything. Oh, sorry about the notifications. But
You're perfectly fine.
I didn't really use it for anything. I just kind of tossed it out there. So this, I would say, is the first album that I'm working on with an actual intention. It's an independent album, as the last one was, but this one I actually want, completely public. I want to put it out there. I want to do material for it. I want to put videos together for it. So like I'm at a different stage of my career during this like solo independent project.
I see. So it's kind of like a new beginning for you, even though it's like a very familiar kind of same kind of concept. It just is a little bit newer and different. I
Very
I
much
see.
so, yeah.
When I found out your YouTube channel, I think I found you commenting on a video or whatever. You're like, dang, I haven't heard this since I first recorded it. And I remember I was like, ooh, this is actually a full YouTube channel. He comes out with freestyles and whatnot. What made you go into this kind of freestyle kind of bag? Do you like a lot of mixtapes? Because my favorite of all time is Lil Wayne. And when I seen you remixing two or three songs, I was just like, this guy has got all my props and respect, literally right there.
I appreciate that. Well, I mean, since I've been doing the sync stuff, the stuff for TV, video games, and movies and stuff like that, I've really strayed away from my independent stuff. So when I came back to reapproach the whole internet thing and the whole social media exposure aspect of my career, I started realizing that I wanted like a basis for people to compare me to. You know what I'm saying? I can't just drop a whole bunch of original songs because I wanted people to see the level of versatility that I have. So I was like, the only way that I can showcase that is by hitting songs that I know that they're familiar with, but doing it my way. So they get a little bit of the familiarity with the concept of the song, or like the flow, or like sometimes I'll jump in and out of the artist's flow, but I wanted everybody to have a direct comparison between me and somebody else, me and somebody else, me and somebody else. So I can show people, yes, I can do what they do, and then I can do this. I could do what they do, and then I could do that. So the whole remixing thing was just for me to show people what I'm capable of. Whereas this album now is giving people the sound that I want them to understand that I have.
Yeah, versatile is kind of something that's kind of key importance, I think, in an artist, because you kind of always hear that, critique about somebody is like if they hear two of their albums back to back, it's just like I almost felt like I already heard this before. Or you
Yeah.
hear things that just like I felt like they could have pushed this off till later because it wasn't consistent enough. And you're trying to show that, well, I can tell you that I can switch all kind of different kind of ways. It doesn't have to be one solid sound or just numerous amounts of sounds that have no correlation with any of them. You said it relates to you, but
Mhm.
then within the song that you're using, you're still using the same kind of flow that they would kind of use too. So
Yeah,
like
I like giving people. I like one of the things that I do like doing. Don't get me wrong. When I approach a remix, I like going for songs that I've never heard before, like some of those songs that I did, like, a lot of the Lil Wayne songs, a lot of the artists that I chose, I have heard the songs, but like I like approaching a song that I never heard and seeing what I do instead of what they would do, and being like, okay, I never like the song that I just released on the Juice World beat on Sunday. I never heard the song prior to recording the song. I just wanted to see what I would do in comparison. So like stuff like that I do as well. It just like keeps me going. And I drop music literally every Sunday. So like I try everything. I'm super experimental. I'm like all over the place.
I see that. I see that. Was there ever like an artist? Because before you started making music of your own, like, was there ever an artist that like kind of, I guess, influenced you to kind of pursue this? You were listening to their music and you said, "This is what I want to do." When did this
Oh,
kind of start
definitely.
too? By the way.
Um, I want to say I've always been really heavy into rap. Like rap has always been one of the dominant forces in my life. But the so like when I was younger, like artists like Tupac, Biggie, that area of DMX, the Locks, a lot of them really influenced me to have a love for the music. But honestly speaking, it wasn't until Eminem came around that influenced me to actually pick up the pen. Eminem is like my idol, dude. Like I love everything M drops. Like I value his music. Like his lyricism is what drove me to the lyrical path. So like the way that he approached music made me feel free enough to be like, oh, okay, he's doing it how he feels. Like let me pick up the pen. Let me see how I could do it. And that happened. Oof, when I was 11 years old, man, I picked up the pen and I was like, I want to write raps, and I have not stopped since.
Dang, that's actually pretty interesting, especially with, you saying Eminem is like the best lyricist. So like it's kind of influenced you, which in a way, like I can tell when I've like looked on your YouTube and then I've even seen some of the stuff you share on your own socials. I'm just like, this guy definitely has like some kind of lyrical flow kind of, influence. Like it can't just be
Thank you.
someone who does just music just to make music. Like it's actually, there's a flow to it. And you even have storytelling in some of it. I
Yeah.
remember, the triple X one, it was changes, and that one I remember was kind of a more of like a personal story kind of thing, which
Yeah, that
oh,
one was on the darker or the more downside of my music. And yes, it is very personal. It is storytelling. And yeah, I do pride myself with, the to excelling lyrically, like I really really do pride myself in that. I pride myself in the fact that you can break down any one of my songs, any bar at any point of any song, and it'll all correlate. I break my songs down to a mathematical level, like like I'm dead serious about it.
um have you ever been to a concert before?
um Strange enough, and my friends get at me all the time for this. The only time I legit have been at a I've recently I used to work in City Field. It's where the Mets play. Um a couple years back, that I was working during a concert. That was the closest. I've done open mics, I've done shows, I've opened for, artists, but I have never it's so weird. I've never gone to a show, no.
You've never gone to a show? Hey, it's perfectly fine. I've listened to music since, I was basically like, a little one, like 2 or 3. I'm 22 and I didn't go to my first concert until I was like 16 or 17. So
That's
it it
dope.
it took a while for me too. Even with wrestling, I'm a big wrestling fan. I watched wrestling from like 2008 and I didn't go to an event until basically 5 years later. So
Uh,
so sometimes that happens. And we're speaking about, wrestling and whatnot. How did the conversation and how did this all get going of you kind of making a few songs for, WWE and some of their people?
Oh man. So like first off, like those guys, especially during the creation part, they're very hush hush, right? So I like in the sync world, you get briefed. like you get an email, somebody, like your lawyer, like my lawyer, or one of the people in the practice would email me or send me a message and be like, hey, we're looking for a song that gives this energy, that says these keywords, and hits these points, and we'll give you the beat when you get over here because it's a little more secretive. And then that's when I get the first flag, like, what the hell? Like, you guys send me beats all the time before I get there. Like, so that's when I realized, like, okay, this was important. So they're containing what goes out. So that was the first thing that I was like, okay, what is this concern? They're like WWE. I was like, oh. So they ask for specific things. They ask us to hit specific targets. They even ask us to include specific words, have specific rhythm. Sometimes they even go to cadence, but they don't ever really do that with me because I like ride my own rhythm when it comes to music. But so like they would, make specific requests. I would make the songs, like hear what the reference tracks that they would want me to like have the body of, and then I just lay it down. I don't find out that they're using the songs until way later, way later. So sometimes it'll be a fan of mine like, "Oh my god, I just heard your song come off of this wrestler," and I'm like, "Link me. I didn't know it. I didn't send me. I didn't see it. Let me see." Like, so, but like the whole thing started like just as random as anything else. Like they made their deals behind the scene, and I just get songs. They tell me, this is what we want you to hit. They don't even tell me what it's for sometimes, and I just knock it out. I get lucky sometimes, and they're like, "Oh, it's for this wrestler," and I'm like, like maybe I should go a little more aggressive. So, but like, for the most part, it's just like, this is the target. This is what you want. This here, lay it down, and I go in and I lay it down.
Oh yeah, and recently, their music has been kind of getting, shade kind of thrown at them about like, their recent kind of style. But then I'm like, well, they still have made, bangers, as the, people like to
Hmm.
say. They've still made solid songs. I mean, you yourself have made, a few solid songs.
Thank you, thank
Uh,
you.
like I know you made Carmelo Hayes, which I almost questioned it at first because I actually, when we were hyping this up, I put that in there originally, but then I was like, I don't know if he for sure made this, but it sounds like his voice, so I'm not gonna put
Yeah,
it just in case. But the other
no, that's
ones, I
definitely me.
I knew you made the Cameron Grimes remix one. You made the Apollo Cruise, which are you the one who shouts out Apollo at the
No,
beginning?
shout out to my homie Veneno. That's my homie Veneno B12. I laid down the whole song and I did the whole thing. They were like, and then I left the studio that day, and I just got home, and they're like, "Oh man, we needed one more thing," and I'm like, "Oh
Uh,
man." So my boy came, stepped in, and knocked that shit out, knocked it out. So shouts to my homie Veneno for that one.
Oh yeah, that whole song was freaking dope. I really enjoy that one. The Carmelo Hayes, another one. And then there's a few other ones. You obviously made the SmackDown one, which they still use in their promotional stuff. It's like because I see nobody better
Yeah.
than me. I'm just like, hey, that's got a flow. I mean, I understand people aren't. They keep trying to remember what was in the past, but we're looking at the future, and that song right there is definitely defining not only the future the now,
Appreciate
but
you.
SmackDown itself because it's competition. And when you're saying
Exactly.
ain't nobody better than me, that fits perfectly. It fits perfectly.
I agree. I
Um,
agree. I mean,
uh,
and I do respect, I respect social media's opinions. I feel where y'all coming from. I understand that, but you guys have to understand, and everybody in social media land specifically. Yeah, I have to understand that you really can't make everybody happy all the time. You know what I'm saying? And especially if in the position that we're at as creators, we're given a target. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they just go, they call us and they're like, "Give me the hottest song you got," and we're like, "Here, motherfucker," and then they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna make this a red." Like it doesn't work that way. Like that's what the internet thinks. They're like, "Oh, it's getting generic. It's like, dude, you guys realize we hit targets. We're songwriters, we're creators, we work in sync. In sync, they ask for very specifics because they have people that need very specific things. When they ask for those specific things, it might take 3 songs, 4 songs before we hit the right mark. and then they okay the right mark, and then it goes to them. So if it's coming off anyway, I'm not blaming WWE, I'm not blaming anybody. It's all part of the process, but there is a process and there is nobody to blame because you can't make everybody happy. But the people we are trying to make happy are the targets that we're hitting. Y'all can't fault us for that, for hitting the targets, because we're hitting the targets. You know what I'm saying? The music is getting okayed. We're hitting the targets.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And so out of some of the ones I've already named, some of the few you made the Raw one, which was I think called Eyes of the Warrior.
Yeah,
That was used during the Thunderdome era, which that was a dope song. I think you guys should go on YouTube and find it.
that song is really actually fucking crazy.
Uh,
I love
that
it.
that one. Is there any others that I'm missing that you've made for? I know I recently
Oh
looked. I said
man.
Odyssey Jones. That's another one you made one for.
There is WrestleMania. I want to say 4 years ago. I did that. Money in the Bank a few years ago as well. The money. I gotta
Got to
get
get
that
that
money.
money. I didn't know you made that one. That's pretty
Yeah,
dope.
that's
That's
me.
pretty dope.
I did that. There was one about New York that was like, damn, I forgot how that one goes. This is for the lights out in Times Square, higher than the Empire.
New
This is
York.
for damn.
I know there was even some because I've tried going on YouTube as much as I can to find each and every one of them. You even made some like their hype package kind of ones too, like their raw ones. I think one is said like bumper or something or bumped or
Yeah,
something like that, which
there's a
that
couple. I did a couple bumpers. I did a couple wrestlers themes. Yeah, a lot of the promo cuts and stuff like that. So yeah, I've been decently active and like my first shot out. I think my first two songs was the Humberto Carrillo and the Apollo, and then I did WrestleMania, and then I was doing events from there, and then I did a couple other wrestlers. Yes, I've been blessed, man. I've been decently consistent with it. Like we have a couple other artists that are doing songs with them, and there's also another rapper with that does songs with Def Rebel for
Stevie Stone.
Stevie Stone is one of them, yes, but there's another rapper. I'm not 100% familiar with him, but shouts to Stevie Stone. Stevie
Oh
Stone's
hell yeah.
just a banging ass artist, bro. He is doing it. Like shouts to Stevie Stone. That guy is fucking dope. I met him in person. Him and I have been in the studio together. I don't know if we're ever gonna release that song, but
Oh
him and I,
oh
yeah, secrets, industry secrets. But I don't know. I like that guy is solid. His music is great. He's a great guy. Shouts to everything he's doing, bro. Follow him. Stevie Stone is fire.
Oh yeah, Stevie Stone has some pretty solid songs. He's made a few solid wrestling themes. Obviously, Solo Sokoa's theme song is a good playthrough one. The We Taking It All, like a lot of people like that one too. That's why, like, when like to be honest, I like you said, I agree with some of the critiques. Like maybe there are certain things that are too repetitive, but then it comes to it's like, well, there's these songs, and I know you guys like them because you definitely play them. Like the Carmelo Hayes, there's so many people I know personally through my socials that love that Carmelo Hayes theme song.
Thank you,
And,
everybody. Thank you.
and
That's what's up.
and it's even the Apollo Crews one. I've talked to a few people and I've said that this remix, I think, did you make both the original To the Top and the Nigerian royalty remix?
No, that was just beat work. They just changed the beats. They
Uh,
didn't. I had nothing to do with any of that. After the original, I had nothing to do with any of that.
so you just made one copy. They just did the kind of the editing themselves is what it was.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right. Still pretty dope songs. Is there anybody out there you wish you could probably personally make a theme song for, like out there? I'm sure The Rock is up there, isn't he?
Hell yeah, that would be dope. What? What? Oh man, dope. But oh man, who would I? Oh man, who would I? That's an interesting. Is it like current or is it like period?
You can give me a current one, past, And then one that I guess is kind of, I guess, I don't know, your personal favorite besides just the current and past.
Okay, so if I would say current, huh? It would probably be Roman Reigns just because I know I could make a bomb ass song for his entrance, bro. I know I could make a bomb ass song for his entrance. And just for how much play I would get, bro, all day, I would do the Roman Reigns all day. Past, it would probably have to be Randy Orton. That would have been a dope. If I would have got ins on that, that would have been sick. But if you're talking about my favorite wrestler, if I would be, it would have been Jeff Hardy in his prime, bro.
Jeff
Jeff Hardy,
Hardy. Whoo.
dude, my favorite wrestler of all time, bro. And it's weird, as weird of a choice as that is, bro. Back, little known fact about me: when I was in my teenage years, I used to backyard wrestle in
Oh yeah.
Lower East Side Manhattan with a wrestling federation called No Love Wrestling. And I was a high flyer. I was a high flyer. My signature move was the Swanton Bomb.
Hell yeah. Um,
So I am a Jeff Hardy fan to the core.
when did you kind of start your watch in wrestling? Because I know a lot of people either have their small phases or just they've watched it basically their whole life, but sometimes they can point out their first moment that they kind of remember.
Oh, dude, Attitude Era.
Attitude Era?
Attitude Era all day. Attitude Era and the NWO, that whole fucking the when WCW and WWE fused, that whole transitional period, that whole time period was when wrestling was magnifique to me, bro. That's when I was like hardcore, bro.
Oh yeah,
Since
that was probably back then when they used to have them shirts in school that would get you in trouble, but you still
hell
wore
yeah,
it. You didn't care.
hell yeah, exactly. So that was my era, bro. Since then, I've I catch up when I can. I've been really busy, so like looking at watching
Oh yeah.
anything has been hard. But that was my era, man. The Attitude Era was it for me, bro. That was everything.
And so like when you were given this kind of opportunity, to kind of do some of these, studio songs and whatnot, and this business kind of, mutual stuff, was this something that you're just like, hell yeah, I'll say yes to it?
Hell yeah, dude. Oh, dream come true shit, bro. Like a lot of the friends, a lot of my friends on social media were people that I grew up with that seen me do this backyard wrestling and seen me, go through life and, the ups and downs and shit. So when people seen that it went full circle into something that I was like already like involved in, like in my life, everybody was like, "Fuck, that was crazy!" Like they couldn't believe it. It's like it's crazy to me that that wrestling popped up the way it did in my life. But like, I'm so proud of my work with WWE, bro. Like to my death, bro. Like this is I like as weird as it sounds. Like I've been immortalized through WWE at this point, bro. Like that's different than anything ever. Like I take that and I'm humbled by it. It's fucking beautiful. It's fucking beautiful thing.
Oh yeah, and it definitely is a dream come true kind of thing, because either some people want to be kind of the guy who has their own wrestling promotion, because you're like, oh, I want to book all these matches, or you're somebody who wants to get in the ring yourself because you feel like this is just a dream come true. And
Mm,
then you have obviously you've kind of made theme songs and whatnot, and so that right there is another thing to be proud to accomplish and have an accolade under your name. And
definitely.
with you making music, you were talking about the album and whatnot. Do you ever have any kind of future things that you plan on doing, like either concerts or whatnot, or trying to tune up on festivals and being kind of the headliner?
Oh, I would love, man, I would love to feel like I'm at that point. But although I've been so involved with WWE and so involved with Sync and I've done songs with Disney and MTV and all of this stuff, my personal music journey kind of just started recently, like late last year. So, there's like certain criteria I have to hit before I feel like I'm at that level, and that, like, you know, exposure, like followers, plays, like all of these things that people don't think that I have to worry about, because like I do music with WWE. I have to worry about, man. I have to make sure my music gets plays. I have to promote my independent songs. I have to try to get more followers, and all of those things like are really important first steps that I have to take. And even though I've approached the music scene in a weird downward angle, like I got, you know, notoriety, and now I'm like going to get song plays, and then I go back up and I'm doing WE, and then I'm going back down and doing independent. It's a weird like bounce back and forth. But like the only thing that I can say is that like when I'm when I feel like I'm at that point, that something like that, then you know that people would want something like that, yeah, I'm 100% down for it. But I gotta break my first 1,000 on my independent plays first. Like,
He's like, I don't want to dream too big at the moment, because then, you know, it kind of leaves you with kind of like an upset before it actually happens. So you're like,
exactly,
baby steps. You can only take baby
exactly.
steps at the moment.
And people even take that weird, because they're like, dude, your fucking wrestling songs got like 500,000 plays. And I'm like, yeah, but like my personal songs got like 500. Like,
like, like that's a big difference. That is a big difference.
a
And
big difference.
And to be fair, that gets played on the TV is actually what's, you know, being viewed by many people. Meanwhile, like your personal stuff is kind of like, it's like, that's kind of my personal crew and stuff and whatnot. It's not like, you know, like a
Exactly.
television trying to produce it out there in the world. So that means
Exactly.
you have to do all of that work, which so far I've been saying you've been doing a pretty good job, and I've made sure to
Thank you.
share some of your stuff. I've even seen when I
Thank you.
looked
Thank
at
you.
your YouTube, you got a few subscribers since this kind of has started, and hopefully it continues
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah, I'm hopeful, man. I got my fingers crossed. I'm like, I'm consistency is like my thing. I'm constantly releasing new songs. I'm constantly releasing content. I just started my brand, and I have a group of friends. Shout out to my guys in Mad Company. Those are my guys. Like, I'm like giving this my all, man. So like, and it's like all my hands. Like, it's not like stuff I do with WWE. I go in the booth, I lay it down, and then boom, everybody takes it from there. It's like if you see, look, that's my studio mic. Like, I'm recording myself. I have my setup. Like, there's all me here. It's not the help that I get over there. So it's different.
Hell yeah. And you know, it definitely is different. Like I said, it's all kind of like there's a difference between commercial versus independent, and the WWE stuff is commercial. What you're doing yourself is independent.
Yep.
And again, hopefully it continues going. I remember even in our private conversations, we were kind of talking about how you have your Twitch starting to kind of go, and you're going to try to work on that. What is your kind of, I don't want to keep saying like your future plans over and over again, but like so far, what have you done on Twitch? And do you have any things that you'd like to kind of say that you plan on doing on Twitch here in the next soon kind of time that comes by?
Yeah. Right now I do a stream on Saturday and Sundays, 7 to 9. Um, my my friend slash alter ego Chad Chadwick has a show on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 to 9. So like right now on Twitch, I am playing Persona 3. I'm trying to understand the algorithm behind this. So like I'm sticking to one game. I'm like, but on weekends, instead of game focusing, I have a couple members of my squad, and we just talk about topics. It's more of a talk show. We have a topic of conversation, questions that we get from the internet, and we run them through every weekend. It's pretty cool. It's like picking up traction. Like I said, I really don't understand much of the social media element, because I started late last year. So I'm learning everything as I go along. But like, there's growth, and I'm proud of myself with the level of consistency that I've been
As you
applying to it. I'm,
should.
I'm proud of myself. Yeah.
As you should. And like I make sure that down in the description that people see where they can find your stuff, both through Instagram, your YouTube, and Twitch. I have definitely tagged that all below, so make sure you guys go
Awesome.
check that out as well. Make sure you follow my guests too, which I think that we've kind of touched up on a lot of the stuff that, I told you I'd be kind of loving to talk about. And hopefully we get to have another conversation in the future. I'll definitely try to keep in touch with you. I'll make sure to share your stuff too. I definitely told you I would make sure that your album gets shared out, especially when it comes closer to that date.
Thank you. Thank you.
Why don't you go ahead, shout where people can find you, and also kind of the stuff that you have planned in the future too that you want to give hints about.
All right, all right. Well, you guys can hit me up. I'm on all forms of social media. I'm most active on my Instagram. That's Supreme_Madness. Check out my Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Supreme Madness. That's SupremeMadne 55. Man, my YouTube is fully active. Every Sunday at 12 p.m. I'm dropping a new remix track. Um Stay tuned for the website. Mad Company is the website that's gonna come out. Mad Company is my brand, is my personal the company that I own. We have Mad Company Outdoors, we got Mad Company Gaming, we have Mad Company Promotion, Mad Company Production. It's growing. It's not fully done yet, but all of my members are rocking out. You can find all their social medias off of my social media, but I want you guys to um be ready for May. I'm aiming for May 10th, and I'm giving everything that I can to make it happen May 10th. It is going to be a very important album for me. Um, it's going to show the evolution that I haven't allowed myself to have for the last 10 years. And I'm very proud of the work that's coming from this album. Um Stay tuned, hit me up on YouTube, because that's where all of my content is gonna be. And Mad Company, that's MADKOMPANY, is the squad. Keep your eyes open because it's about to be real big. Oh, and on a side note, if you don't mind,
Go ahead,
if
go
you
ahead.
go on if you go on w.gg and use the promo code Supreme Madness, you save yourself some money on some W gear. You heard? So use my promo code too.
Yep. And there is where you can find his stuff. And there was actually two things that I totally forgot to ask you. And I think I'll go ahead and ask you real quick and then we
Let's
can
go.
close this conversation. Two things. What made you come up with the Supreme Madness moniker? And then my second question is with the Mad Company, your brand, how did that all come into play too?
Supreme Madness as a moniker. Okay, so when I started off rapping, I was just Madness. Madness was my name. It was no Supreme in the start of it. When I started doing work for Sync and those companies, there's a time. I guess I should have said this too. There's something that I do that a lot of people don't know that I do. I'm a shotgun writer, is what I call it. I can go into a studio, listen to a beat, and have a complete song in 45 minutes. That's great. Like that goes from writing the song to recording the song to getting it perfect to making it down and getting it done in 45 minutes. I can write and record and recite that fast and memorize that fast. So
Man, that's
when
impressive.
thank you. So when my company saw that, they were like, "Bro, this guy is fucking supreme, bro. Like you just like peak, bro. Like they'll call me and be like, they'll call me at 3 in the afternoon and be like, "Oh, we need this song by 5, and it's crazy." And they're like, "Oh, you're an hour away," and I'll be like, "Don't worry about it," and I'll get there in an hour and have the song done by 5. Like they love me for it. So we just put the moniker Supreme on front of Madness
I
because
see.
they just kept calling me Supreme. And in reference to Mad Company actually started as a gaming crew of mine. It was I want to say it was like 30 of us. We used to game together. It was across like 6, 7 different games. We would party up. We would talk every night, all the time. Um, Around, I want to say 5 years ago, I started really considering making it a lifestyle brand, entertainment brand, and early this year, well, for the last 2 years, life really lifed me up. So early this year, I just was on a wave that I was like, fuck hesitating. I'm going all in with my dreams and got my LLC, and now I'm, gunning for it. you know?
Hell
So
yeah,
that's
and hell yeah, and and like I said, like I checked out some of your stuff and I was very impressed by it, interested in
thank you.
it, and thank God for the YouTube comments sometimes, because they can be a little bit hectic, but then sometimes they're a blessing in disguise, which I feel like they were a blessing in disguise right here, because I was able
Amen.
to contact you, find your stuff, and didn't realize you were actually making your own music in the long run too. So it was
I appreciate that. Yeah, and that's something that a lot of people don't realize, and it took, like I said, it took me a little while to get savvy with my social media, but like I want to let people know that the Supreme Madness that you guys have heard on these songs, that you've been waiting for years to have something other than the content on WWE. I'm here. I'm finally coming out, and I'm about to get really loud with it.
hell yeah, and I definitely will make sure that people can go find it when that time comes.
Appreciate you.
I'll probably even rewatch this interview. I know some people are like, "Ooh, who rewatches their stuff?" But I rewatch it just so that I can improve on my next interviews or my next kind of presentation,
That's
and
great. That's what you're supposed to do. Yes. Good job.
exactly. And not even just that, but I also do it just because I sometimes like to re-listen to, my conversations and be like, huh, that's kind of interesting. Because like life goes by so fast, you don't know what's always going on. So then you're like, oh yeah,
True.
we did talk about that. Oh yeah, that is happening, or oh yeah, that did happen, kind of thing.
True. True.
And
Good point. Good point.
that's always something look forward to, because I don't like to look back at things unless they're positive, and I feel like that's a good way to look back in a positive aspect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hell yeah. That's a great outlook. I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. I do the same thing. Like I find myself listening to my songs, or listening to, like, my looking at my content, like, damn, I should have done that better. I could have done that better. And like even some of it's so I can enjoy it. Like you said, like, oh wow, that was good. That was good. I'm glad. I pat myself on the back for that one and shit. So we need that. As
Uh,
creators, we need that.
oh yeah, and definitely make sure you go follow him and find all his stuff, which again is down in the description down below of this very interview video. And I would also like to say, I know I keep asking these questions, but sometimes that's just how it is.
Let's go.
I want you. This is the best way to close it out, since we've been talking about music. So we already talked about the wrestlers you'd like to make themes for. Now I want to hear your three people, I guess, in the world, artists that you would like to collab with that are
Oh.
still alive.
Oh man. Oh man. Eminem number one. First off, I'm gonna
Oh
throw that
yeah.
shit out there quick. Um, I would love to collaborate with Lil Wayne as well. Lil
Oh,
Wayne, if Eminem is my number one alive right now, I would put Lil Wayne as number two, right next to Jay-Z. Honestly, like Lil Wayne, the only reason why I wouldn't be able to, why Jay-Z wouldn't be one of those goals, is because I know Jay-Z would like destroy me on a fucking song before he like like it wouldn't be a competition. At least Eminem and Lil Wayne, I'll be able to, like, build off of them, like work with them. Jay-Z is just like a masochist, bro. I mean, you heard him and Kanye, bro. He destroyed them on all the songs. There's
and
no even play, bro.
yeah, so
Even.
you're saying that you felt like he would take it over, pun intended, by the way.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. But like, I would love to make it would be Eminem, Lil Wayne, and honestly, I would love to make music with with Future, bro. He's just so different, bro. I would just
Ooh,
just as
ooh.
he just to hear where my sound would go with him. Like, I would love to make music with Future.
So you took it from the kind of more lyrical kind of bass flow to kind of the more melodic flow, but still has
Yeah.
that catchiness that people can remember and repeat, as life goes on, right?
Yeah, versatility, man. I want to cover both spectrums.
Oh yeah, and that's exactly how we started this conversation.
Hmm.
Again, thank you very much for being in a part of this interview. I always like to say that when it comes to an interview, it's not just the host's work or just the guest's work. It's literally a teamwork. It's two making the one thing, the one magic happen. And I would like to say again, thank you very much for being a part of this interview. I will
Thank
make
you for
sure
having me.
to
Thank you for
keep in
having me.
touch with you, share your stuff, and no problem, man. And again, go follow his stuff down below. Thanks again, and I'll catch you later, man.
Take care, man. Thank you for having me.
Yep.
Anytime, anytime, invite me back. I'm here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you again, man. Peace.
Peace.